Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. This is Harry from Hasbro TV, and I'm back again with Muzzy for another Fulham
Hello,
preview. Yeah, like every
hello.
every time. um, anyway, first of all, I think we'll talk a bit about Tottenham because I kind of want to get your view on what you're seeing as like an outsider, like with Tottenham. What you thought of Ange so far, and like Spurs, and I just want your outside opinion on it first.
I think he plays attractive football. I watched
Mm,
the Bournemouth game. I watched until like this. I think you lot just went 2-0 up, and the
mm,
football you're playing is good. All right, it's just this game I've seen. It doesn't look like you're missing Kane. It looks like rather than trying to give the ball to that one player and trying to get it around him, it's like finally a team game. I'm not saying Tottenham are just a
yeah.
one man team, but it's nice to see other players get into it. Like that Saar, he's looking good. Basuma's back, looking good. And I think it was for Madison's goal, the play with Saar, then Basuma, then
Oh, yeah. But as in, obviously, a reason I brought up Ange is because obviously you saw Spurs under Conte last season, yeah,
yeah.
and obviously under Mourinho before. Like, what do you think is the major difference between, say, what you've seen this season and last season from Tottenham?
When you go 1-0 up, you're not just trying to settle for that 1-0. You want to go for more. You're not willing to sit back. You want to keep going because one goal or two goal lead is never good enough. It is never good enough.
Mm,
And it's
mm.
dangerous in this day of age, especially with the amount of injury time we're getting. You need to make sure you can hold on to them one goal leads, two goal leads, and keep going for it until it's the last 5 minutes. And yeah, do your game smartness, game management.
Yeah. And so, the reason I bring this up is because obviously there were a lot of Spurs fans who were Conte out last season.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going on to another channel later, and it's a bit, yeah, but but because they're a bit, some of them yes,
yeah.
some of them know about Conte. But with Ange just seems to like united the Spurs fan base again. If you could liken him to a previous Spurs manager, and I'll tell you why I bring this up, who would you liken him to? I wonder if you can say the same person that I'm saying.
What the way he's playing football.
Kick Davies out, yeah. No, as in, as in, just like as a person. 'Cause obviously, you've seen his like comments and stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I only know like what his football style's like,
Uh,
and he's like another manager that I used to like at Spurs.
oh,
This was
really?
Poch.
Poch. So you like
He
him
played.
more to Poch? Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Um, I think Poch was a good manager for you lot, and
Mm,
you've got finally someone playing his kind of philosophy
mm.
where they don't want to sit back, they want to keep attacking. And I didn't know what way you were trying to describe it, but Poch
Oh
was
no,
sorting
no.
out
So
came to my
as
head.
like a person, so for example, someone like me, he reminds me a lot of like Harry Redknapp, Martin Jol, that sort of style of person, like manager.
Oh,
But but
I
But
wouldn't
and the
know.
reason that was brought up, I thought you might say Martin Joel because it's the
Oh,
same sort of
because of
scenario. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
Uh, um,
wouldn't have thought that.
I'll quickly ask you about Sessegnon because obviously every time you come on, I've asked you about Sessegnon, so I might as well just do it
Yeah.
again. Obviously, I know he's injured again. And obviously we have changed the style, which is why I went with the style stuff first. Do you see Sessegnon have any sort of future at Tottenham under the new manager?
No, but cheers for the 30 million.
Jesus, Dave.
I mean, I feel so for him. The amount of manager changes he's had, like, it's so hard for him to adjust to one philosophy. Then you've got another manager, it's different philosophy, and then he gets injured and then sent out on loan. Like, I do feel sorry for him. Like, I want him to do well. Like, I was really excited when I saw him play against Fulham when I was at Uni Stadium, and he was there. He
Yeah,
came, clapped us. It was nice watching him play. But I'm just gutted that he's not given enough chance or keeps getting injured.
because obviously we've discussed like internally as Spurs fans, right? So what players have a future? If someone X person stays, like a Sanchez or a Højbjerg, are they going to play at all? And obviously, Session was on the market until he got injured, but chances are he'll probably come back before the January window, for example. So
Yeah.
maybe he'll get like another shot. Um, do you see this new manager maybe trying him like further up the pitch where Son's playing, or
It's a
as a backup to
possibility.
Doji on the left?
Possibility. But because there's no Europe, it's so hard for them. No game time, where you got the Carabao Cup spaced out, you're going to get the FA Cup spaced out, and then you got the normal Premier League games. So if there was a European chance, and if you lot got into the Conference or Europa League, there'd be more of a chance of him trying to get into the squad in the latter stage of the season. But because
Mm.
of no European football as well, it's kind of tricky for him to try to get in the team.
So you don't think there's any chance of him playing at
I
all
mean,
under Ange when he comes back?
I'll let you know tomorrow if you do qualify or not. It's like
Oh yeah,
if
big up
I feel
Adnan. I just clocked who this is. Sorry, big up Adnan.
like
Yeah,
I generally believe he could get a chance to play in the team again if
yeah,
we go in
yeah.
the latter stages of the cup. And then if the cup games are close to the league games, then you'll have to play him because you need the depth in your squads.
Because we got obviously we touched on the whole point of Clayton. You wanted to touch on the game tomorrow, but I thought I'd just ask about Sessegnon because
Yeah, nice.
there's some people like who are like not pro Sessegnon, but they want to give him another chance because we have a new manager, and there's some people like me who are just like, just sell him, please. But
I
yeah,
don't know because the way your manager plays now is
yeah,
perfect for
yeah. That's
Cesc.
what. Yeah, yeah.
Because Cesc, he started off as a left back for us. I think he was a left back.
Mm,
Is he left back? Yeah, he's left back. He started off left back and then he went to left wing, and that's where he made a name for himself, like, at left wing. But obviously, you've got Son and Kulusevski playing on the wings. It's kind of hard for him to get in front of them. But if you want to rotate a squad and he is fit, I
mm.
can't see why he wouldn't be a good match.
So I don't know how much you've seen in Tottenham, but I thought I'd just bring stuff about Son. So Son was made club captain at Tottenham after
Yeah,
Kane left, and obviously Madison's a vice and Romero's a vice. Uh, do you think? Did you expect Spurs to make Son the club captain?
no.
And did you feel who do you think it was going to be?
All right, it's gonna sound really it's
Yeah,
gonna sound white. All right, I would have given it. I would have given it to Romero.
it's like the club captain basically.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he's an absolute nut job. All right,
yeah, yeah.
but at the same time, I think he knows how to. I don't know. Does he know how to handle himself? He does sometimes,
Mm. He's
and
calmed down a bit the past few games, to be fair. But
yeah. But at the same time, like I feel like it's hard to have someone attacking as a club captain. I always thought of a club captain would be like a centre back or a holding midfielder, just because
that's why I
they
see.
can
Yeah.
see the whole game.
Mm.
But I just thought Romero straight away because he shows a bit of leadership. But I've seen Son being captain for United and Bournemouth, is it
Yeah,
Bournemouth?
yeah.
And
Yeah, Bournemouth.
he's shown his captaincy is, he knows how to be a leader. He's been at the club long enough, so he knows the ins and out of the club. So fair play to him. I think he's the one player that I do like at Spurs, and who I'm jealous that you lot have him.
Mm. But obviously, last season he wasn't that great. So this is why I thought, why is he being given captaincy? Because he wasn't that great
Who,
last season.
all right, what about this one then? Who's your longest serving player at the club at the moment?
Longest serving player is probably him, yeah. Or unless we're counting players like Dyer and Davies.
Oh, I wouldn't like first start. If,
Yeah,
if it was like first starters, like
yeah.
first team players, all right, I know them two are first team players as well.
Oh, this guy's asking you have a channel.
I don't have a channel, sorry.
Lazzy doesn't have a channel, but he will be on Tottenham on tour in a few hours' time as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not cheating. I'm still loyal.
I'm not cheating. Big up, Adrian. You're right.
Clearly.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
so
yeah,
that's what I thought
like,
I'd ask you. Who's Fulham's captain? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm a Fulham fan as well.
You don't know
I
who
think
the club captain is.
I want to say I want to say it's Tim Ream
Yeah.
and Tom Kenny.
Mm.
I think Tom Kenny's probably like the longest serving
Is
player
he a
with Tim
left back
Ream,
or centre half or something?
centre back.
Centre back. Like I'm
Tim
with
Ream
you. I'm
centre
very
back.
old school. I agree with you. I kind of want either one a centre half or a central midfielder because they're
Yeah,
the spine of the team. And I think it's weird because Son tends to play wide, even though a lot of people tend to put him in the middle. And that seems like a really weird place for someone to like look at the whole pitch. Like you'd rather have someone like where Ledley King obviously was a centre half playing in the middle, and but That's I
Yeah,
think Romero is not a bad shout. He's vice captain, but
I mean,
you're
if,
gonna laugh at my suggestion because he doesn't even
go on,
play
go on.
anymore. I was saying Oliver Skip, yeah, because I was like he's Tottenham, so I thought I'll
Mm,
make him. Because the problem with Spurs is we just don't really have any sort of like proper. When I think captains, man, I think of people like Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira.
mhm. Yeah, I was going to say Patrick Vieira, so
Yeah,
I'm happy you said it.
but those kind of players just don't exist anymore.
I mean, if I had to choose a future Spurs captain, and if
Mm.
they stay at the club, it'd probably be Sarr or Basuma.
Yeah, a lot of people said Bissouma. To be fair, yeah,
Like,
because he's been
Basuma's
our
starting to
best
step up a
player.
bit,
Mm.
so it's like exciting watching him play. Like, obviously, my brother and my dad being a Spurs fan, I watch a lot of Spurs, and if I can go to the games and Fulham aren't playing, I've got a spare ticket available sometimes.
Mm.
So
So
I try and
do
go.
you, mm. Okay, I thought I'd bring this up because he did us a
Yes.
favor here. um, so I know the Spurs fans are watching it thinking, yes, he drew Arsenal. But did you go to the game? You did go, dear, right? Didn't you?
No,
Did
I
you,
was
did you not go to that one?
I booked the festival before the fixtures came out,
Oh,
so I
did you watch the game, bro? Take you watched
I,
the game.
I watched Match of the Day
Yeah.
and I watched the highlights, and it was a good draw. We shouldn't have been down 10 men.
It wasn't a red
I
card. Yeah.
mean, it was two yellows, one for time wasting for taking a goal kick. Like, I've just come back from a non-league game and no one's been booked for taking a bloody goal kick after 8 seconds. It's like
Mm.
I feel like the rules are getting a bit weird, but all I can say is da 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 Pelinha.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him because it, obviously we've been linked with him. I think Liverpool been linked with him.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
West
teams that
Ham,
want him. Do you see Paulinho staying?
yeah,
You think he's going to stay?
yeah. I
Because I
think he's
really
going to
want him.
stay.
To be honest, I really want him at Tottenham. He's brilliant.
I feel like he's got one more season with Fulham
mm.
before we try and get 100 mil for him.
100 mil.
Well, come on, Declan Rice got sold for 100 mil, and Paulinho made the most tackles last year in the Premier League. He's going to do again the same this season.
But Rice got English tax though, hasn't he?
Yeah, Fellaini plays for the oldest team in London.
Yeah. So that's the reply. But
Yeah,
so as in obviously Fulham, so you drew to Arsenal.
yeah.
Your other scores, did you win your first two
We
games?
we beat Everton 1-0, which we were
Yeah.
so poor against. Like, we
Is that the
should not have
first
won.
game? Was that the first
Yeah,
game? Yeah.
and then
And
last week we
then,
got battered by Brentford 3-0.
so like, what have you made of Fulham's start to the season then? As in, are you going to tomorrow's game like confident or quite
I
like
feel like
reserved or?
tomorrow's game, I think both teams are going to put their reserves out, and both managers play very similar football
Mm.
with going forwards. And we've got a few players that are going to have their first starts of the season. We've got Adama Traore now. He's going to start.
I was going to go into your signings in a minute, but as in, like, for your start to the season, are the Fulham fans basically confident going into tomorrow's game, or is it
Oh yeah, no, we're going to
quite
be
mixed?
we're going to go in the game with open minds, hoping we can win, because it all depends on what team you put out as well.
Because I tell you something funny, the only game I've went to, yeah, in recent years away from home was actually Fulham away. This was like when I was at university, like
Okay.
5 years ago or something, and we won like 3-0. I think Kane scored, ironically,
Oh, was that
but
the FA Cup?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was there as well.
yeah. So as in, will Fulham take the cup seriously? Do you think?
We'll still take it seriously, but it just won't be the first team. I don't think we're going to put our first team.
You don't think so?
No, if it was FA Cup, it'd be completely different because it's halfway through the season. We know whether we could potentially be safe or not, but we're 3 games in the season. We don't know if we're going to be safe, and we'd rather put out a young team. I mean, last year we got knocked out by Crawley.
Did you?
Crawley, yeah, we got knocked out by Crawley
When
2
Carabao
0
Cup,
Yeah,
was it away from home or?
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
it was just so, and that was still under Marco Silva. So he's going to rotate the squad a lot. I feel like for tomorrow, but it's not going to be a weak side. I feel like Carlos Vinicius could start. Adama Traore will start. I feel like we'll have I see. Have they got sent off? You got suspensions don't count, does it tomorrow?
No, because I think FA Cup it does, but Carabao Cup it doesn't. It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. So you don't think? Because obviously, back in the '90s, Spurs were like a cup team, yeah. And we used to go into these games like taking it seriously. I remember. I want to take us to take tomorrow seriously as well. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like when I look at Fulham, I think of kind of Spurs back in the '90s a bit because you guys are kind of like mid-table-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you as a club do you not take it seriously these kind of cups? Do you think or
Um,
like what is the aim for Fulham, for example, this season?
well, to stay up again,
Yeah.
because obviously without Mitrovic, it's a difficult one. Because obviously he was our talisman. Well, now we've got to try and find a different way to get some goals. But we showed on Saturday we can still score goals without him.
Mm.
But I don't know. I feel like when you're in the early stages of the cup, you're not going to take it as serious. But the further you go, everyone calls it a tin pot cover. So you get to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, the final, right? So at the moment, for me, it's a tin pot cup. But if we get anywhere near that quarterfinals, I'll be
Yeah.
buzzing for it. I'll be like, oh my god, this cup is massive.
That's football fans in a nutshell, mate. It's just like,
Yeah, pretty much.
oh, if we're gonna
Well,
that, it's a rubbish cup.
it's like tomorrow. What kind of team do you reckon you will put out?
So I want us to play like the full team, but I would still want us to tinker like a couple players. So like the front three are not really working well. Like Son, Kulu, and Richarlison are not clicking at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see some sort of change up there. You might as well just put Perisic on the right, on the left, sorry, Solomon on the right, and maybe Richarlison or Son in the middle. Just try something different. I'd like to see something like that, but I wouldn't want to change too much because our back five are quite settled now. Because Porro is coming at right back the past 2 games, and the goalkeeper and stuff, and the midfield's working so well. Well, I don't know why you want to tinker with that so much. But then I think because you know how it is at Tottenham, yeah, where finishing top 4 or top 5 is priority. I think he probably will rest players because he'll probably get told to. And I want us to win the cup. To be honest, I don't see it as a tin pot cup. We ain't won anything since 2008. So
It was this cup you won last.
yeah, I'll still take it again. I
I
ain't won
mean,
anything since 08.
if I ask my other mates, they'll say the Tiger Cup and the Audi Cup. I'm like, that's not real.
It's not. It's not.
It's like me saying we won the championship last season, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a cup, but it's not one of the top English cups you want to win. You want to win the Carabao, FA, and Premier League. They're the 3 cups in England, and I mean, I don't ever think Fulham would win this cup, but
You
I
don't
want
think?
us to. No, I just want us to give it a go and have a good game. I feel like we can show what we have tomorrow, but if I was to be perfectly honest, I feel like you lot are going to dominate the game. I'm hoping it goes to penalties and we win that way.
Oh, you don't have to do anything. So do you think Fulham making a lot of changes or
Yeah,
like a lot? So what do you
yeah.
think the lineup will be for Fulham then?
I think Rodak can go. I think Leno will be rested.
Mm.
I still think we could play Anthony Robinson, Diop, Tim Ream, and Tete at the back. So the fullbacks still be the same. In the middle could be. Um, I feel like Tom Kenny will start.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure if he put Polini on though. That's the only tricky one. I'm trying to think. If Polini at the start, it'll be nice. It means that we've got someone who I can actually trust making a tackle.
Mm.
And then Pereira or
You one
Harrison
he got for
Reed.
United, isn't it? I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got him last season for like 15 million, which is
Mm.
now I look at it, it's a bargain. And then I think Bobby Decordova Reed, Adama Traore, and up top would be. I want Carlos Vinicius to start tomorrow.
Who have you guys been playing now? Mitrovic has gone up front.
Raul Jimenez.
Oh, because you got him for Wolves, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because I know he's quite like injury prone.
He's not
Has
injury
he
prone.
done all right so far? Or
He had that head injury, didn't he? At Arsenal. and he's not come back the same for Wolves. But I mean, he almost scored against Arsenal to make it 2-0. He almost made it 2-0. He tried scoring an overhead kick, which was just wide.
Oh wow.
He almost scored against Everton first game where the ball was behind him and he volleyed it and it hit the post and oh god, if that went in, absolute scenes in the living room. I'll tell you that for sure.
So you signed Traore, Adama Traore, from Wolves. You got Jimenez and Traore both from Wolves then.
Yeah. So I think having them two maybe starting tomorrow would be good because of their link up.
Yeah, speak of devil, Brian Daigle.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah. So, like, what have you made of Fulham signings then, so far?
I mean, Adome, from what I've seen so far, hasn't really been given a chance. He hasn't started because obviously he came in late. Jimenez, he's getting there. They just need to adjust the way he plays. We've got Calvin Bassey. He got sent off on Saturday, but he's still.
Who is that? But what position does he play?
Calvin Bassey, centre back.
Centre back. Oh, who'd you get him from?
Ajax. He was at Rangers 2 seasons ago.
Was he? Oh,
yeah.
He went to Ajax.
Yeah, so Ajax had him for 1 season and didn't like him.
Oh, that's why he's. Oh, okay. Is he like a young centre half or something?
I think he's like 24.
24. Oh. Sort of youngish, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, have you been pleased with the signing so far, or
what was that?
Are you pleased with the signing so far at Fulham, or?
No, yeah, so far so good. Like we're getting a left back. I think he plays left back. Timothy Castagna from Leicester.
Yeah.
So apparently he's completed his medical, and Fulham will probably announce it either today or tomorrow.
The guy from Leicester, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll touch on this more specifically in like 5 minutes because you know who I'm going to bring up. But but what kind of players do you want before the window closes for Fulham? And what players are you still targeting apart from Castagna?
We're looking at this player in Brazil at the moment, and I don't actually know his name. But apparently we've already bidded for him once, got rejected, and we're going for like a second bid for this Brazilian player in the Brazilian league. And Marco Silva, if you look at his last like 5-6 signings, the majority have been either Brazilian or Portuguese.
So it's kind of following a trend, I guess.
Yeah, like we've got Raul Jimenez, we've got Palinha, Portuguese, we've got Pereira, Brazilian, Willian, Brazilian. We signed Rodrigo Muniz. He's not the best player, Brazilian. So he's got like a trend of getting these kind of players in. And
are there any specific like positions you guys are targeting or that you want yourself? For example, like
I'd actually love a striker.
Oh. Do you think you guys will get one or not?
I don't know.
Because we want a striker too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you probably outbid us. You've got more money. But if you look at Fulham's last not record signings, but when they sign players, we ain't going to get nothing until deadline day. They're probably going to be. We're probably going to get 2 domestic loans because we still haven't done the loans yet. And Fulham love getting 2 domestic loans where we fall in love with the player and they never join us.
What? What do you mean?
Well, the player will do good. Huh? Yeah, so 2 players in the Premier League.
They try and get 2 players in the Premier League on loan for them every year.
We've got Daniel James last year.
Oh yeah.
And then we got Cedrics from Arsenal loan.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't fall in love with them too. I could not wait to see the back of them. But you know,
Reguilon. I thought Reguilon's getting sold. Is Forster still fit enough to play? I don't know. Forster, Reguilon, Davies, Sanchez, Emerson, Skip, Højbjerg, Celso, Son, Richarlison, Sonman. It's a lot of changes.
But so my mate Ben Davies will be playing.
Your mate Ben Davies? Oh yeah. Do you want to tell everyone?
All right.
This guy met Ben Davies the other day.
So what was it? I think you lot played Barcelona in the pre-season friendly.
Yeah.
So the next day, I'm an Uber driver, by the way, in London. Anyone need an Uber? Call me. Um, so I got a job from the Tottenham Stadium, and out comes Ben Davis walking towards my car with one of like the Tottenham workers,
Yeah.
because Ben Davis didn't actually put the cap, he did. And when he got in the car, me and him were chatting, and it was a good hour we spoke,
Yeah.
and we were chatting about the season. This is before Harry Kane left, so I was saying, "Oh, no, I know you know about Harry Kane. Well, is he saying I'm leaving?" He goes, "Honestly,
ITK.
he was like, none of us know," and I was like, "He definitely knows, but I'm not going to question him anymore."
Yeah.
And then I even asked him like, "How's Solomon doing?"
Yeah.
Obviously, was it
Because
us
I
last
was
year?
going to ask you about him as well, but yeah. You can
He
carry on and
asked
say
he,
that. Yeah.
I asked him how Solomon is, and he was like, "Well, he's bloody fast, but good luck for him getting the first team because we've got quality there already." And I
Mm.
was like, I asked him like, "What do you not think is good enough?" And he was like, "No, he's good enough. It's just we've got Son and what's it,
Kulusevski. Yeah.
Kulusevski.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for him to get in the team." But no, Ben Davis is quality. Um, before I stopped on double red lines before I dropped him off, and I was like, "Oh, please, can I get a photo before I drop you off?" And he was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
cool." So honestly, one of the nicest geezers I've met.
And you've seen that clip with him, Big Daddy Davis. You've seen that, right?
I haven't, but then
You
you
haven't seen that clip?
commented.
Okay, search it. It's funny.
But then I think you wrote to me commenting on
Yeah.
it saying Big
Yeah.
Daddy Davis, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, come on.
That honestly, man, like that's great. You actually met him. When I saw that, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, no, I was like, I couldn't believe it even myself. I was like, oh my god.
As in, when they got the call, was it from when it was from the Spurs stadium? Was it like from one of the? Cause you said the workers came out. Like, was it directly from the stadium itself or something, or
Yeah, so
I was mobile? Yeah.
I think like a couple of days later, a photo came out of him doing like a sponsorship with, I think like, I don't know, I'll send you it later, but
Mm,
he was doing like a sponsorship, like a charity or sponsor on the pitch, and there's a
mm.
picture of him on the pitch with the team that he was working with or something.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So he was doing like a little video. There's one funny thing I did ask him though.
Mm.
So I asked him, "Oh, so have you done your videos for Sky Sports yet? You know, the whole come
Yeah.
on and all this."
Yeah.
And I asked him, going, "Oh my god, I've done about 20 of them because you know how they broadcast football in all these
Yeah.
countries."
Yeah.
And so by the last one, he felt pressured and he was just like, "Oh, come on." Like he hated it. He hated it. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, how long does that take? He goes, "Too long. Too long. I don't want to do
Because they
it
have to do
again."
with the media stuff, don't they? That's
Yeah.
yeah. But honestly, man, that when I saw your picture on Instagram, I was like, "What?" Ben Davies.
I had my Fulham polo on as well, so it's like a
Yeah.
lot to talk about.
And I think that day was it the cup thing the day after or something. The cup draw before this was the day after or something like that.
It was on the day.
Was it? It was on the day, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was on
That's
the day.
ironic. Yeah.
So I was like, what are the odds? Like, I'm gonna wait outside the ground after with my Uber sign going, "Ben, it's me."
Do you want the cab home?
I'm actually driving there tomorrow, so you could.
Yeah. Thing is, there's a chance that Davies might be playing in the game tomorrow. If we make these wholesale changes, he might play.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was going to ask you about Solomon because I know you mentioned it anyway. But so, what can Spurs fans expect from Solomon? Because obviously you watched him the whole of last season. I don't
Mhm.
think he started that many games for Fulham, did he? Or not?
He didn't start at the beginning because he got injured in like a closed door friendly.
Mm.
But when he came in, he started off right. He scored 5 in 5 and scored some bangers. But he's just everyone kind of sussed him out.
Because obviously we've only seen about so far about 5 minutes of him, probably 5-10 minutes of
Yeah.
him this season because he came on against United when we were obviously 2-0 up, cruising. He came on and he did a few like not tricks, but going past players, weaving past players, using both feet and skilling up some players. But is his output, because he mentioned he scored 5 in 5, right? Is his output enough for like a club like Spurs, do you think? Or do you think he might develop? Or, because obviously you saw the whole season of him.
Yeah.
I've only seen about 10 minutes. Yeah.
I think he can develop. What I liked of him last year is how he used to cut in and score, but then when clubs started sussing it out, that's basically all he had. Like
Would he cut
that's
off on the left or from the right?
he was always on the left, he'd cut in onto the right, and then just swing the ball into the right corner. He done it against Wolves and he done it against Leeds in the FA Cup.
All
But
right. Okay.
he's fast. Like we played Brighton last season, absolutely getting battered, and then we counter attacked, and he was at the end of the ball and scored the winner in the 89th minute.
Mm.
So he's got proper pace in him. But the only thing negative I'd say about him is he's a one trick pony with that. Unless your new manager develops him and helps him do other stuff, and he can't track back.
Really, he doesn't track back.
He didn't track back last season. I went to Aston Villa away where he started one of the games and he was just he thought we were playing a 4-3-3 for some reason and just kept on walking back.
Yeah, we thought we were playing a 4-3-3. But so, what position did he play at Fulham? Was it on? He said he mentioned he played off the left. When he came on to Spurs the other day, they brought him on the right. Where did he play at Fulham? Did he even play up front for a bit, or
No, he didn't play up front, so he was always on the wings.
so left or right, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you say your worry is him is that he doesn't have enough work rate. For now, obviously, I think he's 23, 24 or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah. But do you see him developing, or do you think he's not going to get
No,
any game time at Tottenham?
it's a game time that's going to be a struggle unless you get. I mean, God forbid you got an injury because obviously there are players that I would put in front of him as well. Like if you had Lucas Moura still, I'd put Lucas Moura on the pitch before him.
Before Solomon, really? Because
Only
Solomon's
because,
meant to be our replacement for Lucas Moore.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Solomon, he is an all right player.
Mm,
He can improve as well. I'm not saying that he won't, but game time wise, I think tomorrow will be perfect for him to play. Chuck him
you
in the
think?
cup games, give him more time as well. Don't just give him last 5 minutes. It's pointless. You're not going to see much out of him.
I agree with you. Like, and I don't know if you know this, but a lot of Spurs fans are very critical. I know Kulusevski scored the other day. Very critical of Kulusevski. This obviously the beginning of the season and let's say the latter half of last season. Let's say the last half of that last season, and they said that people have actually sussed him out. And now you bring up Solomon saying he does the same thing. He cuts in off the left and hits on the right because that's the opposite to Kulusevski, right? Kulusevski cuts on the. Do you think that Solomon could actually challenge Kulusevski for his spot now? Then, because if Kulusevski's in such bad form, I know he scored the other day, but do you think there's a chance?
It depends on what he does off the bench. I mean, he'll probably start tomorrow. See what he does tomorrow. If he is the star of the show, I can't see why he's putting more pressure. He's knocking on the door. He wants to start. You know, who the hell becomes a footballer and says, my dream is to sit on the bench? No one.
Yeah.
They want to start. So he's going to be out there playing the best he can.
So do you see him doing bits tomorrow or not?
It depends on what Marco's plan is. If he knows how to suss him out and it keeps him quiet, then yeah. But if he's learnt a few new tricks while being at Tottenham, it could be different. He could be a different player that we haven't seen.
So to sum him up, his time at Fulham, he was very predictable, you would say, and
No, not at the
lazy,
beginning.
or was he exciting, or what would you
No,
sum it up?
he was definitely exciting.
Yeah.
Definitely exciting at the beginning, and then he went more quiet after like February time.
And you brought him in the summer, right? Didn't you?
I thought we had him on loan from Shakhtar.
Yeah, was it in the summer or was it January window?
Summer, because he got injured at the beginning of the season.
Oh, so that's why he didn't play till. Oh,
That's why
right,
he didn't play until like the New Year's.
Well, that makes sense. Okay, so some transfer talk. I know I'm gonna have to bring this up. So, Fulham being linked with Eric Dyer. Obviously, Spurs fans watching this, everyone will be probably agree with me. We want to get rid of Eric Dyer so badly. Can you explain to us, number one, why what Marco Silva sees in Eric Dyer, or what do you think he sees in Eric Dyer? is he just a replacement like for Tosin, who I'm going to touch on him in a minute after Dyer, but what is going on? Because I'm like, please take him, please take Dyer. Like, why do you think Fulham are moving for him? And would you even would you want him?
I'd have him as a backup for now. But you know how I told you earlier
Yeah.
that he likes signing these Portuguese kind of players.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Dyer started off in Portugal.
Mm.
He started off at Sporting. So I don't know if there's like a similarity there, but at the same time, I think I'm kind of confused on why we want him. Like, I wouldn't be like against Marco's decision. I'd give Dyer a chance if he did join us, but at the same time, I'd be like, okay, let's see
Why are
what
we
we
signing
can.
him?
Yeah, like why? But at the same time, I can understand why because
Mm.
when we signed Bassi, we were linked with another centre back as well, and that fell through. And I think he went to Monaco, or he went, yeah, the Southampton centre back went to Monaco.
Mm.
So then, Marco said he needs some more signings. He's not happy with anything that's going on. But now that Tony Khan's AEW tour of London has stopped, he can actually focus on Fulham and start to sign players.
What
And
stopped? Sorry,
the
what?
AEW, it's like a wrestling thing.
AEW.
Have you heard of it?
Oh no. Was that got to do with
Okay,
Fulham?
because Tony Khan is our sport director.
Oh right, yeah, and
Yeah, so he's too focused on this wrestling and Jacksonville Jaguars for American football,
what?
where us Fulham fans are getting annoyed because we're thinking, can you just please focus on Fulham now? Right, we're on the last week of the transfer window. Can we just get some more players in? And Dyer, I'll give him a chance, I would.
All
Because
right.
Tim Ream, he's a 35-year-old centre back. We can't just rely on him.
Because Dyer's about 30 as well, I think now, isn't he?
Yeah, but centre backs don't prime till late, do they?
I'd say about 28, 29, wouldn't they, or not? I don't know. But because obviously as Spurs fan, we want to get rid of Dyer so badly. So, but on the Fulham end, is there any news about you can tell me about you guys chasing him, or because we've only had snippets really from Sky? Is there
Yeah,
anything
no,
else? Is
that's
there
that's
any
all
more
I've
legs in
heard.
it, or
I mean, I heard that you lot were interested in Tosin at the beginning of the
yeah,
transfer window, but
yeah.
apparently Monaco are in for Tosin, and
Mm-mm.
there's like 48 hours. Apparently, in 48 hours' time, he'll be at Monaco, but whether Tottenham come in and hijack it, I don't know. But
And what can
Tosin,
you tell us about Tosin? Because again, he's another one I haven't really seen play much.
he's good. He can play the ball at the back. I like Tosin. I'm just surprised that he's dropped in form, and I'm I'm confused on why we're getting rid of him and how he's not starting. And I honestly think Tosin's a good player. A lot of Fulham fans might disagree with me, but I'm just going from what I've seen of Tosin. And all right, everyone can be clumsy here and there. No one can be perfect.
I think this guy's trolling. Trust in Levy. So as in, do you think Tosin will get any game time at Tottenham? Because obviously you've got Romero and Van der Ven who just joined as well. Or do you think he'll
I
just come in
mean,
as a backup, as people like to say?
I know he'll come in as a backup, but knowing Romero's track record on bookings, Tosin could get a start very soon.
So you think Tosin will get minutes if he joined? Yeah.
I think he'll come in. I think he could because you play five at the back, right?
Not anymore. No, now it's a 4.
Was it four? Oh, you've changed.
Now we play 4-3-3.
Okay. I mean, Tosin will be a backup, and he'll probably sulk about it after 6 months and want to leave again.
Oh, okay. But as in, is he a good player? Do you think he's a very good player?
In the Championship, he was.
Mm.
In the Premier League, I would rather have Tim Ream and Diop for Fulham than have Tosin start. But I like Tosin to come on sometimes as well.
So basically, he'll be swapping one bench for another.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, because obviously there's a lot of Spurs fans who are really pushing for Tosin, saying, "Oh, he's tall, he's strong, he can play the ball out. We should get him in." But what you told me, if he just wants to leave because he's not getting game time, maybe that's why he wants to go to Monaco instead of Spurs. Like maybe
Yeah, I
it's because
don't even know what's going on. Like, I'm surprised he wants to leave, but at the same time, I would rather get rid of a player that doesn't want to be at the club.
tier one. I was going to ask you. I don't know how much you said you mentioned you've seen the Spurs games. Richarlison's a big topic of conversation, right, at Spurs right now.
Yeah,
Obviously, he used to play for Everton. I don't know how much you've seen him in the Premier League, but I thought I'd just bring this up because I might as well.
yeah.
Do you think Richarlison? This is a bold statement. Do you think he can not take over Kane? I don't think that's the right way to say it. Do you think he can help make up for missing
No
Kane's goals? I
way.
guess.
No.
So you don't see
But
Richarlison succeeding at Spurs now because obviously
you know
Kane's
what?
gone. But
I feel like he needs more confidence. Like when I saw him against Bournemouth, he had one chance where he just did not have to shoot. He was just trying to get the ball under control. He's right in the 6 yard box, and still he could not finish. I think he's lacking the confidence and just needs like he's one of those players that he doesn't like being shouted at. You need to put an arm around him and tell him, "Don't worry, you'll be all right next time." But at the same time, he needs to believe in himself because he's got a lot of pressure now. You haven't got another striker or a proven striker, but you've got Richarlison, who big money. You got him for I think 60 mil.
yeah, 60 mil.
So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I like him doing his chicken dance, but 3 out of 4 times being disallowed.
Chicken dance. The pigeon. He calls it the pigeon.
Is it the pigeon? All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
but 3 out of 4
Obviously,
times.
there's a massive debate as to whether Spurs should go out and sign another striker or stick with Richarlison or move Son into the middle. And like my personal opinion on Richarlison, and I know a lot of people disagree with it. It's just what I think is the way we play now. We need the wide players to play further wide. So obviously you have Kulusevski and Son on because naturally they've been playing on the right and left. This past obviously left Son and Kulusevski right a lot whole of the past 2-3 years, whatever they've been here, and they keep like going inside, like you said, like Solomon does come inside and hit it on the other side. Especially Kulusevski does that. It's very predictable, but uh, as in he wants his wingers to cross it from the outside for the striker. So now, because now our fullbacks are inverted,
Yeah,
it's a new trend, right? Everyone inverts their fullbacks, but so now the wingers are now actually meant to be sort of like traditional wingers where they play really wide and they put balls in. Now with Richarlison, I think he had like one chance against Bournemouth. I can remember that he just about got a kick off, and I actually realised it bounced like 3-4 players. It was really unfortunate that it didn't happen to anything, right? It didn't amount to like a goal. But like I think he needs service. Like if you watch him for Brazil, obviously he had Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, so different gravy in
yeah,
it.
it's
But they
different.
put balls into him. Like at Spurs, it doesn't seem to happen.
I mean, it depends how Ange what he sees at training because if you're starting Richarlison for these games, he's doing something at training that he's not actually doing on the pitch, and you're going to think, why? What's happening?
So do you think they'll give him another few games or not?
I know. I think they'll still give him games. You've got another option. It'll be hard,
So
but I feel like he's a versatile player where he doesn't just need to play striker. I reckon he can rotate with Son or Kulusevski and just, you have them three front people playing a free roam when you go forwards. I feel like that would be so much better, especially with them three players because they're very attacking. But then once you go on the defensive side, Richarlison can stay up top, but that's when Son and Kulusevski come back and help out. If you know what I'm talking about.
yeah. It's just
Yeah,
that obviously the way Ange plays, even if we move Son into the middle, it was I thought it was quite ironic. He took off Richarlison for Perisic and he moved Son into the middle because Perisic, as you know, is crossing like top. He's crossing so good, and we're crossing it in, and now there's no tall player to head it because you move Son
yeah,
into the middle, right? And it's like, well, surely Richarlison wanted to be on the end of Perisic's crosses. So it seemed like a bit weird to me. So do you see Son now he's maybe main captain? Do you see him taking Richarlison's spot then in the next few games at Spurs?
Mm. Oh, it's just a hard one.
Mm.
As much as you're like Son playing on the wing, he could play the striker role. I mean, he came off the bench last year after having a terrible start to the season, like Richarlison is now.
Mm.
He's got a hat trick against Leicester.
Mm.
So you got to think of them. Maybe Richarlison needs to be dropped, and then for him to come on the pitch, and for him to feel more hungry to perform rather than
Under pressure, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
because he knows he's starting, he knows that. But like Harry Kane, when he came to the squad at first, he was a youngster in it, and now you've got is it Alfie Devine or Troy? No,
yeah. He's gone
Scarlett.
out on loan, I think. Alfie Devine,
You got Scarlett as well, and Troy
yeah,
Parrott.
Dane Scarlett, yeah.
So you've got them three players that can play attacking as well. But if you've kept one of them, I think Parrott's gone out on loan and Scarlett has stayed, right?
Mm.
I don't know, but give them a chance maybe even tomorrow. Just see what they're like when they play against.
Start Dane Scarlett. Yeah, yeah,
Either start him or bring him off the bench. Start giving them a chance. I enjoy when I see players that come out of the youth academy that have been at Tottenham for ages, or not just Tottenham, but like them kind
yeah.
of players coming out and they're proving themselves that they can do it on the big stage.
Interesting, because obviously Kane's situation was kind of not an anomaly, but no one really expected it. Put it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, Marcus Rashford came through that little youth system. He made his debut, I think, in a Europa Cup match and absolutely shined. And now look at him.
So looking at the game tomorrow, what tactics do you expect Marco Silva to play tomorrow? Like, what kind
He'll
of style are
probably
you guys playing now?
he will definitely play a 4-2-3-1.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Is yours an
formation that he's
attacking
playing.
4-2-3-1 or?
Oh yeah, it'll be attacking.
Mm.
Once we go forward, we've got our three attacking players and a striker getting in there.
Which would probably Jimenez or Vinicius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you,
Interesting.
you're saying you're
So
going to
four.
play.
Hmm?
You're saying you're going to play a 4-3-3 probably against us
Yeah,
tomorrow.
most likely. Yeah, he hasn't changed it at all. This whole,
Okay.
even with Madison, Madison's playing like the 4-3. You have somebody have one person like sitting or screening, one person's a bit further, and then you got someone just playing the pockets. It's kind of Madison sort of playing the pockets, and
Yeah.
then obviously you got Sarr doing the running a lot of the time, and Basuma kind of shielding at the back. Yeah,
Okay.
and they kind of interchange, but Madison's the furthest forward. Like if you watch us, he plays really high up now, and he does sometimes drop deep to just collect the ball and just spray it around, and then he'll just go up again. It's like like Ericsson used to do, I guess.
Yeah.
But like I haven't watched Fulham this season at all. I just saw your score with Arsenal. I was like, yes, but but, but I didn't watch any of the game because I think it was at 3 o'clock or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you expect you guys to be attacking tomorrow? You think you'll take it to Tottenham?
I hope so. I hope we don't. When we play the big sides, we tend to just sit back, respect them, and then we try to go on the counter. I hope we actually put up a good fight tomorrow. Even if we lose, but it's been a good match and we've showed what we can actually do. Even if it's not our first team tomorrow, I still want to see some fight. And I'll be happy if it's not our first team tomorrow. I generally will be happy if it's not our first team tomorrow because I feel like them players will be the hungry ones. They want to
That's a
show why
good
they deserve
point.
to be in the first team.
So would you say Fulham have depth then? Because I don't really know.
We've got depth, but we need more still.
And before I go into like the actual score prediction, what is Fulham's aims for the season?
To stay up, and if we get the signings we want, try and do what we done last season and almost push for Europe again.
So you think you might push for Europe?
I mean, last season we almost did, but Mitrovic started to push the referee, so he got banned for 10 games.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we were that was massive. Like, I reckon if Mitrovic didn't push referee, if Mitrovic carried on playing the way he was because he was on form, it could have been a completely different season. But pushing a free, but Carlos Vinicius came into the game as well, and I felt bad that when Mitrovic came back, Carlos Vinicius was in the background again because he wasn't playing bad. Fulham fans started to really like it.
See, I actually quite liked Vinicius when he was at Spurs. I was quite disappointed we didn't sign him because I thought there
Yeah,
was a player there. Like, what have you made of him at Fulham then?
I like him. He's very good at winning headers. Surprisingly enough, like he can jump and he can run, and he's not just a goal scorer; he's a team player, and that's what
Mm.
Fulham fans like about him. Like his work rate is quality.
Because there's a section of Spurs fans, like I said, like me, who actually quite liked him and
Yeah,
thought like at the time he was probably our best Kane um, backup that we've ever had, really. Um, of course, some people like Llorente a lot because of his moment, I guess. And then obviously Janssen was a bit useless. Some
yeah,
people argued Son was like a decent enough backup. Sorry, but then at the time we didn't really rate him as a striker, so I don't agree with that. And then obviously we had the time when we had no one, and
yeah,
then obviously Vinicius came along under Mourinho for like a year. And to be fair to him, in the games he played, he scored goals. I know he didn't play in the best games, but he did score goals. And I kind of wanted to see him play more, but we didn't really see enough of him, I don't think,
yeah,
which was a shame. But I'm quite happy he's doing well at Fulham because I think he kind of deserves it, really, because he didn't sulk really at Spurs and he was only on loan. Yeah. And on the face of it, I think he scored before he came to Tottenham. He had like 20 plus goals in Portugal or something.
yeah. He was on fire in Portugal, but then Premier League's the hardest league in the world.
Mm. He just wasn't getting game time. So at least at
Yeah,
Fulham, maybe now, especially when Mitrovic has left. Um, and if you don't mind me asking this, right, with Mitrovic, were you guys surprised he went to Saudi?
no,
Because Saudi obviously are buying like everyone, but
we're not
and was he even on
surprised.
sale, or did the Saudi Arabian club just come in with like a massive bid, and you guys like
They
we had to
just
sell him?
they just came in and absolutely rattled the club. Mitrovic started to start sulking and being a bitch, so we made him train by himself.
Oh really? Oh.
He literally, for the American tour we had, I think the first two games, he was training by himself the whole time.
Mm.
And we basically came out and told the Saudis 52 mil we want for him. And I think we ended up selling him for 45 mil plus add-ons.
So, but as in, were you surprised that he left?
No,
Or were you sad that he left at all? Or...
I don't think he left in the right manner. I feel like he became too much of a diva.
Yeah.
This time I'm going to say it in a nice way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I know what you're saying. But
but
so do you think this? Because obviously your club's been victim of this already. Yeah. Do you think the Saudi stuff is like a massive problem?
um, yeah, I think they've got too much money to throw around. They want to try be the biggest league in the world with
Mm.
the biggest stars. They've just signed like a Spanish wonder kids, haven't they, in
21-year-old
Saudi?
or something. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, so you're thinking he's quite young and I wouldn't say he's thrown away his career, like he's making money and fair play. It's like Ronaldo didn't have to go to Saudi Arabia, but he's just getting his extra retirement money.
Mm.
And
So,
I feel
as in, do
like,
you think it's a massive problem?
yeah, I think it will be. I think it is one where, I mean, they've offered players like 45 million a year contracts. You're thinking, I mean, I was over the moon when I heard that Marco Silva turned down £20 million a year to go to Saudi for
Oh,
him to
he
stay
turned
for
down.
us.
He turned down an offer to go Saudi.
Yeah, they offered him a 2 year contract for £40 million, and he said no.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
because
if
because
if if Marco's not back this season and we don't do as well as he wants us to do, he's in his last season. He hasn't signed a new contract. He can go next
oh
year for free.
really?
Yeah.
Because you got him from what was it Watford, right, or Everton?
I'm not sure where he was. I think he was a free agent at the time, but he
Really?
was
Oh, you
at.
got him.
I think he was at Watford and Everton and Hull beforehand.
Oh, he was. Yeah, you're right. He was at Hull, wasn't he? But I've thought Marco Sitt was a pretty decent manager
Yeah,
from what I've
but he
seen of
just
him.
kept
Yeah.
on jumping. He kept on jumping ship, and for him to learn from his mistakes in the past and jumping ship, so the grass isn't always green on the other side.
Mm.
He's decided to stay, and I don't think he'd sign a new contract until January. If he doesn't sign it in January, I don't think he's going to stay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all right. But it's interesting to me that he rejected the Saudis, but then Mitrovic took the money. So I think a lot of these players who've gone abroad, unless it's the end of their careers, I see them more as like mercenaries. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, but you got to look at it. He can be a manager till he's 70. Mitrovic can only be a player for like another 10 years.
yeah, yeah. But you can make a lot of money, I guess. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But as in, reason I bring this up because obviously the Saudi Arabians have bought a lot of players, right? So for them to be looking at players at Fulham, no disrespect, it's just to me, it's like, well, they're just trying to like hurt every team basically. It's like, well, because there's rumors that they're trying to get into the Champions League,
Hmm.
and
I saw that
and
and I'm thinking, well, that's not. I don't like that.
and Mancini's taken over as their manager of the national team.
Is it the national team is taking over?
Yeah,
Oh, I
Mancini's
didn't
the
know
manager of
that.
Saudi Arabia now.
I knew he left Italy,
Mm, mm.
and I thought he was going to retire, and apparently he's come out of retirement to go manage in Saudi Arabia, but I didn't actually know it's the national team.
Because I saw it on Twitter yesterday. He's the manager of the national team now.
Oh, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I know.
No.
It kind of says a lot though, but
Hey, listen, he's definitely old enough to get his retirement money now.
and
He's
he's
going to
near
be
the end,
there.
isn't he? So
But
yeah.
I've heard that in 2030, they want to try bid for the World Cup, which is why they're trying to get all the bigger
Oh,
stars.
Saudi
And
Arabia, really?
yeah, so I
Because
don't know
they
whether
beat
that.
Argentina in the groups in the World Cup. Remember?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
mental. I remember that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
Uh,
nice. Anyway, so score prediction for tomorrow.
right, this score has always been in my head, and I've guessed a couple of scores this season, and it's been
Okay,
right. But I'm going to say 2-2 Fulham on penalties.
you win on penalties. 2-2.
Yeah,
Are we talking 2-2 as in 1-1 and then 2-2 in extra time, or just 2-2 and then
It- there is no extra time in Carabao
is there no
Cup,
extra
sir.
time anymore?
I don't think there is in the Carabao.
I go straight to penalties.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's good at least. It's but so 2-2 and then penalties and Fulham win. That's what you're saying.
what I want is Carlos Vinicius to score the winning goal and for him to kiss the Fulham badge as well.
One of the top. Yeah. See, I think Andrew will probably take this seriously because it's his first cup game, and I don't
Yeah,
think he'll make such like extreme changes. I think he'll make a few, like maybe two or like three or something. And I don't think he'll want to unsettle the team so much because we have got, I think, Burnley away after this or something like that. A very tough
yeah.
game. Um, and obviously, if you'd make so many changes, it disrupts the rhythm of the team. And he's very early in his tenure, so I don't think he want to do certain things to like annoy the players or annoy the fans. So I think he'll probably try and take it seriously, and that's why I think we'll probably win like 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to agree with you saying that you're going to win.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And like Muzzy, obviously, someone asked what your channel was, but where can we find you? I'm gonna say where can we find you later today, but I don't know.
Probably my Twitter account.
Yeah.
I think it's exact. I think it's just Muzzy Boy with two eyes rather than a Y.
Mm. And you're gonna be on big up Brian Daigle. You're on Brian Daigle's channel later tonight at is it 9 o'clock or 9:30? Tottenham
I'll
on
be
tour.
there at 9:30.
9:30. Okay, so if you've seen a bit of Muzzy already now, he'll be on tonight on Tottenham on tour at 9:30 for another hour and a half. I don't know, an hour and a half. I don't know. So yeah, you can go find him there. He doesn't have his own channel, and you haven't already subscribed to my channel. It's Hasper TV. Please go and subscribe. Like the videos, share the video to everyone, and come on, you Spurs, and of course, leave you out.
You words.